Hi everyone, welcome back to Riding with Ree with me and Ted. Today, as you saw from the intro, we have a jam-packed video ahead of us, so do settle in. I'm going to be doing some pole work exercises for you, and then we're going to be bathing Ted together. So with the pole work, during lockdown, I'm not jumping just to reduce the risk. And if you're actually not even able to see your horses or you're not jumping either, pole work is a great way to get back into the swing of things with your horse, do a gymnastic activity without putting too much strain on them too soon. So the exercise that I'm going to show you is one setup of pole, so you're not going to have to get off more than once, but you're going to be able to do about 4 or 5 exercises, and I'm going to take you through all of those. So this is a great exercise if you ride by yourself and there's no one there to help you, because you're only going to have to get on and then you're set to go for the whole session. So that's part 1, and then we're going to bath Ted together. He actually feels pretty clean and soft, but he's definitely got some stable stains since I bathed him. I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Leave me any questions or comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Ted is my first horse share, so I'm sharing my tips, tricks and fails as we go along. This channel is perfect for you if you are looking for tips on horse ownership or just want to follow our journey. I hope that you enjoy the video. I'll see you there. Alright, let's get into this pole work. Ted and I are going to warm up here in the background, and I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of this pole work setup so you can do it yourself at home. So at the one end, you're going to put 2 poles trotting pole distance apart. So for Ted, that's about 4.5 of my feet. Ted is 16.1 and has quite a short stride, so adjust it depending on your own horse. Then you're going to miss out where your 3rd pole would go and go straight on to your 4th pole. That is going to give you 2 sides of a square. You're going to fill out the other 2 sides of that square with 2 other poles, and then you're adding a fan to the end. This fan is where I found the most difficulty finding the right spacing. So you want 4.5 feet or whatever your trotting pole distance is in the middle of each of these poles. I found that I had to get off and adjust this a couple of times just to make sure that Ted had the right distancing, so see how it feels. The great thing about this setup is that once you've done it, you don't need to touch it again other than to adjust the distances, and this is going to give you a whole session's worth of different exercises to keep you thinking. So let's get into those exercises. I'm going to show you them one by one. So warm up however you like. I like to do a walk, trot, canter on both reins, and I also like to weave Ted in and out of the poles so that he can see them from every angle, and it also gives me a chance to do a bit of flexion and a bit of bending to get him feeling supple. Then exercise 1 is simply trotting down that centre line. So you're going to trot over these poles in both directions, focus on keeping a really consistent rhythm and focus on your straightness. You may want to do this in walks to start with and then build into trot if your horse is new to poles or you're feeling a little bit rusty.
Why do I need to be good all the time? I'm wrapped around his finger, but he is mine. Don't care what they say, too late anyway.
For exercise 2, you're going to incorporate coming in over the square from the short side of the arena as if it were part of a 20-metre circle. Once you've planned this out and done this a few times on one big circle, the obvious build is to incorporate a change of rein as you go over the square.
The history, but I don't want to think about no other than us. They look at me, I'm in a bad situation. Look at him, he's got a bad reputation. They be looking at us.
For exercise 4, we're going to start incorporating the fan. You've already built a little bit of bend and flexion by working on the square, so now you're just going to bring this a little bit tighter. I always start in walk, and make sure that you do this in trot on both reins evenly.
Time. I'm wrapped around his finger, but he is mine. Don't care what they say, too late anyway.
For our last 2 exercises, we're going to incorporate some canter work. We're going to work back on that square, but this time, instead of working in trot, we're going to cross over the square in canter, still keeping it as if it were at the top of our 20-metre circle. Once you've got that circular motion over the square in canter nicely on both reins, you can try and attempt a flying change over the middle of the square. I didn't quite get it right. We had a disunited back end, as you'll see, but we're getting there, and that is an exciting prospect for me and Ted. So that is the end of our 6 pole work exercises. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and do give me a thumbs up if this has been helpful. I actually ended this session with a little bit of work without stirrups. I'm really trying to improve my lower leg position, so I did some walk, trot and canter without stirrups at the end of this. And then do make sure that you warm down correctly after a session. Right, let's get to bathing Ted. Today, as per your Instagram request, we're going to be bathing Ted. It is a beautiful day here in the UK, so he should be nice and warm and dry in a few minutes. So let's get into it. The eagle-eyed among you have probably already spotted those stable stains on Ted's side, so we're going to get those off today. So I started with just hosing him over. It's really warm, so he's not getting cold. I haven't done both sides with the hose because I thought he might dry too quickly, so I've just done the one side. Slightly unconventional, but it works for me. Then just grabbing some Tresemme. We didn't have any horse shampoo around at the moment. We've just got this human shampoo, so it's worth doing a patch test, but most human shampoos are fine on horses, and I know that Ted's owner uses this one on him, so I know he'll be fine with it. So just getting his mane all soapy and then grabbing a sponge with a bit of water and the soap on it just to sponge him all over and get those patches of stable stains off him. And then I'm going to do this on both sides, so I'll wet him with the hose pipe on the other side, soap him all up. So I'm going to let you watch that piece and then I will come back and talk you through the next step.
Light doesn't shine on me. Just to breathe, yeah, I need that. Take it all in now, I see what I'm asking for is just some.
Once we have all of those stable stains off, the next step is to rinse him clean. I'm using the flat of my hand to move the water over his coat and make sure that no soap is left in there. We don't want anything left on his skin because it will make him itchy. The next step is to use a sweat scraper just to go over his body and take off any excess water. So following the lines of his coat and being careful that we're not scraping too hard. It is plastic, so you want to be nice and gentle. He's going to dry now whilst we move on to do his mane and his tail. So using a hose pipe over his tail to get it nice and wet, and then getting a bucket of soapy water and soaping his ends, and we work from the bottom up to the top to create a lather.
To show me the way. The light doesn't shine on me. I go out. The light doesn't shine on me. I fade out. It's all so new to me. I need you. Someone to show me the way. The light doesn't shine on me. Shine on me, shine on me. So the final step is just to brush through his mane and then dry his tail with a quick sort of helicopter swing, and then we were done. I got a really gorgeous moment of Ted playing with the camera, but then of course I turned him out in the field and yeah, he ended up looking like a bay, so stick around for that. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. We would love to have you as part of our little virtual yard. Oh, that is excellent. That is excellent. Gosh, I'm so glad I gave you a bath. Hey, if you've made it this far in my video, I know that you're really into my content and you deserve an exclusive treat. Here is a sneak preview of my latest GoPro Gallop video, which is coming out soon. So this side that we're filming now, this is the side that we'll canter up.
Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do. I never think